take it in a little bit different direction today so that it's something we can always look at the market from different angles. Same market, different angles. And today what I want to do, and Lorenzo, I'm going to go ahead. Oh, he's already jumped ahead of me. Great job. Today what I want to do is I want to talk to you about our CINC page and some changes that we've made. And there's some real serious reasons why I'm having this conversation with you. The first reason is because we have generated about 200 leads, many of those that translated into customers over the last 2 months. We just did a deep dive into how many leads are coming through our CINC ads, which is usually our Google AdWords, and some other sources where they're finding us online. And over 200 customers came in the last 2 months from the site. And we've been investing a sizable investment, and we are prepared to triple that investment. And we plan to pull the trigger on that very quickly. And you're going to likely see from upstairs, our concierge efforts, you're going to see more customers coming through, more appointments from the source. This source has been a very good source of business for us and something that you ought to be mindful. Lorenzo, I'm going to have you stop the screen share here, if you would please. Thank you very much. This is the page. By the way, it's called, the domain name is California Bay, California Bay Area Homes.com. And you all have a subdomain. So if you simply put your first name in front of that, and so let me give you an example of what that looks like. This can become your page. Here's an example of our California Bay Area Homes.com page. And if you simply put your name in front of this, you now have a subdomain page so that you can use it. Here's an example. And I've gone ahead and I've used Jesus, and Jesus.CaliforniaBayAreaHomes.com provides this page for Jesus. You can see his phone number, his DRE number, and the benefit to this is when somebody clicks, when somebody searches for homes, they add a property to their notebook, it doesn't go to the team, but it goes to you. It's identified as your lead, your customer. And one of the major changes that we made to the change that has to the page that has significantly increased our lead volume is we've gone deep in our 5 markets. And you'll notice here that we've gone deep with Antioch, Concord, Elk Grove, Richmond, and Sacramento. Lorenzo has done a great job of making this page hyper local, hyper relevant for those that are interested in these communities. By the way, your subdomain page, it also changed when we altered these because we're running a lot of Google AdWords in these markets. So when somebody searches for real estate in Elk Grove or Richmond or Sacramento, we want this to be hyper local and hyper relevant to them. They found something unique on the market. One of the benefits to these, and I want to take some time today and show you 2 different locations, is let's look at the Antioch location. We'll start there since many of you are out of our Antioch office, and then I'll look at Elk Grove and those who are serving our Elk Grove market. But when you click on this tab here, it will take you to a subdomain page, and the subdomain page here is all about Antioch. It is very, very detailed, and there's a snapshot and there's a market report. Let's see what's happening in the market when it comes to the city of Antioch. So notice that our average price point in Antioch has climbed. Matter of fact, currently, the average price of a property for sale in Antioch or pending is $508,806. By the way, this is happening dynamically. This is happening in real time. And you can click on this link and get a list of those properties. There are 7 distressed homes in Antioch. What is a distressed home? A distressed home is a foreclosure. It is a short sale. It is somebody who has a notice of default. That's a public filing that's recorded with the county recorder that generally they're over 3 months behind on their mortgage. It doesn't mean necessarily that it's going to foreclose or that they're going to complete a short sale, but it means that they're behind on their mortgage. 7 of those properties are distressed. This is a hyperlink. It is linked right here for you. You click on that, it'll take you to all 7 of those properties. We've also linked in now new homes. So what's happening? We've got 22 newly built homes. Now, for purpose of clarification, these new homes are agreeing to cooperate with the multiple listing. Not all new homes, as you know, do cooperate with the MLS. Not all new homes are populating. If they choose to populate on the MLS, we're gathering them for you right here. Again, I'm using Jesus's subdomain page, so anything that Jesus clicks on here or shares with his clients or on social media, any of these links will drive right back to his unique subdomain page and will automatically be inputted into his CINC CRM. Look at this, we've linked it with homes with pools, 75 homes with a pool, and their average price point is $512,381. If you've watched any of my videos, I talk a lot about pools and the fact that generally when you buy a home and you want a pool, buy a home with a pool and you get the pool for free. And you can kind of see that here, the difference between properties that are for sale and homes that are for sale with a pool. It's only, what, $4,000-$5,000 difference, $4,500 difference, not significant. There have been 2 properties that have reduced their price. Do you think that those homes might be interested in an offer? So all of this information is here for you. This particular page, when it talks about 276 homes, is including our pending properties. So you should be aware of that, that some of these lists here are pending and some of them are actively for sale. CINC does include pending properties in that price point. You'll notice here that it actually tracks what's happening month after month here on your subdomain page. And what we know is that, and we've been watching this from a different report, but we know that inventory continues to decline, number of listings, and the average purchase price rises. Now, it's not uncommon for us to look at the average purchase price rising 3% year over year. That's not what this is saying. This is saying it's rising 3% over the month. And you know that if you're out there in the market because you're getting multiple offers and you're getting buyers like Michael had that came in with a $5 million bank statement, a $6 million bank statement, and they're overbidding the property. And we can see the median price of a property is up in Antioch at $493,167. Average property now has 3.39 bedrooms, 2.06 bathrooms. Brian, I don't know how you're supposed to use a 0.06 bathroom, do you? So anyway, you can use these reports, and we call these the market report, or the snapshot to get a little detail about the city, the community. All of those are available on your subdomain. Let's take a second look at Elk Grove. Let's travel eastbound, and we're going to look at Elk Grove. Once again, we've linked Elk Grove. Now, Elk Grove, we were able to pull some school data. And we found when we can identify school data, we will link it in here. And so you can see the schools in Elk Grove. They're hyperlinked, and so you can click on those schools and learn more about those schools and how they're ranking. Let's take a look at the market report. Elk Grove. The market report, average price is up to $602,894, which is up from August 2020 of $597,000. Look, it was up 5% over July. In July, it was $569. Now, you and I know that to close escrow in July means that you needed to be in contract in May or June, which was at the height of uncertainty in the real estate market. COVID and all that, with all the implications. So now we're seeing it rebound really nicely, 5% average price change, positive month over month. We're seeing the median check price 3.74% higher, and the average property is 3.76 beds and 2.51 bathrooms. Again, you can look at the school districts. Let's look at distressed sales. The average property that's distressed, there's only 4 of them in all of Elk Grove. So you know those people that say the market's going to crash, you know the people that say the forbearance is going to destroy the market, that the eviction moratoriums that we've been talking about and I've been posting are going to cause stress and strain to the market. Well, they probably are, but they are not destroying the real estate market because there's only 4 properties that are distressed. And remember, those are the ones that have an NOD on file, a notice of default. Look, we've actually linked our average, they have 18 multi-million-dollar properties. So those are there. The average price of a new built home is $557,504, and we've got 4 price reductions. If you are one of our valued buyer specialists, you're making offer on property after property, would you like to see the homes that the sellers are not receiving offers on, that there's a level of desperation or sense of urgency to get into contract? These 4 properties here in Elk Grove have reduced the price. These are all hyperlinks, so all you have to do is click on them. It'll take you right to those properties. It continues on your subdomain page, and you can now send this out to your clients with a list of the properties that are available. All of this is here. It's available for you. If you have any questions on this, feel free to connect with your lead or your coach. This gives you an update and your client an update on what's happening in the market. This weekend, it was over 100 degrees, as many of you know. So sending out a link with a home with pools, which I've shown you both for Antioch and Elk Grove, it's it's just very, very timely message. So a little market snapshot from a different angle. We're tracking this from our public sites that are available for you to use. Don't tell and sell the market. Show and share. Okay? Show them what's happening and share these reports. If you show and share, you'll create a conversation, and a conversation will lead to your depth of the market knowledge, which generally leads to you being able to serve the client when they're ready and to serve their family. Brian, that's a little bit of a market update. I see some comments coming through. I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, hey, Rick, I find that curious on Elk Grove that average price happens to be currently above Antioch. They must have several, well, they do. You can tell there's a bunch of multi-millions on there, and there's no inventory at all in Elk Grove. So it's literally driving it up a couple $100 grand. So,
and also remember, Brian, one of the things that I often talk about is the size of the market. I showed you Antioch, 115,000 residents in Antioch, nearly 250,000 residents in Elk Grove. So much bigger, and to only have, this is describing 420 homes, but this is also including the pending properties. So we have even less that are active on the market. The stats that I typically bring you, we're not looking at the pendings, we're not sorting the pendings with the actives together. So you're right, we're seeing 602,000, and we're seeing 18 multi-million-dollar homes in the city of Elk Grove. Our markets are changing. The dynamics of the market are changing. And these reports and these tools can help you be viewed as the expert of what's happening in the market.
Yeah, I found in some prep this last week too, to give some insight. It looks like the average days on market have increased. Well, they really haven't. I was thrown off a little bit, started to do a little homework. And because all the old dogs that they won't lower their price to where they're supposed to be are still on there. And those are the ones largely in the active role in a bunch of places. They skew drastically the days on market right now for active. So it gets cleaned up once you go to pendings, but it was really high. I think I was looking in Pittsburgh, and I was like, how's that possible? It's 40 something days. And then I looked, there's some 200s, and there's less than 2 weeks worth of inventory in Pittsburgh. So.
Great point. Yep.
Or one of you, if you can stop sharing, and I'm going to go to the coaches. Coaches, we've got the macroeconomics there. Why don't you give us our microeconomics of our team? How did we do last week? What are you seeing?
All right. Well, happy Tuesday, guys. We did great. Even in the midst of the heat, we were out there showing lots of properties. So this week we took a total of 3 buyer reps. So good job, guys. On the listing side, if you took a new listing, raise your hand. We had 4 new listings for you guys this week. Yay. Raise your hand. Yay, Mike. Okay. Nice job, guys. And this week we were busy writing offers. If you wrote an offer and it got accepted, raise your hand. We wrote a total of 7 offers. We wrote and we got 7 accepted.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah. So
You
we'll
guys,
take it.
that's pretty 100%. amazing.
That's awesome. Wow. On the listing side, we were super, super busy, multiple offers. We had 5 properties go pending this week.
Great.
So nice job, you guys. And it was very busy this weekend because I see all the emails coming over.
Yeah.
The listing group posted multiple offers, multiple properties for sale that were being marketed all weekend, and there were a lot of people out showing homes.
Yeah.
It was a busy weekend.
Even in the midst of 109 degrees.
I know, yeah,
Uh-huh.
super hot.
Yes. And then we had a total of 2 closings this week. Great job. And Megan is going to be answering our 3 questions on our side.
Yay! Can you see?
Oh, your payday.
Mom
Happy
says
meal
she'll
day.
send you a candy bar.
Okay, thanks, Mom.
So Megan, tell us about the family you served.
So the source of my client was my SOI. They were a referral from another referral. They are an immigrant family who never thought they could buy their own home. And they worked with Carlos from Supreme for a really long time to get ready to go. And actually, we got them into contract. Everything went great, and then we got we were able to lift our loan contingency. I always get that in writing from our lender. And then something went terribly wrong, and because of COVID, some of the requirements changed for the GSFA down payment assistance program. So we ended up being about 30 days late closing. It was very, very stressful, and I'm not sure what I learned through this other than patience and a good reminder of why I always get in writing that we are able to lift final loan contingency.
Yeah. Good.
Wow.
Would you do anything differently at all, Megan?
I don't know what I could have done differently on my end other than just communicated more and more and more that when we lift this contingency, you know, the sellers can hang on to our deposit as liquidated damages. So that was a big conversation we had.
Yeah. I mean, really, you did a great job negotiating, because even after you released your contingencies, right, it was like another, 20, 30 days till you close. So I think your communication with the listing agent obviously was paid off in the end, and you did an amazing job just keeping that transaction going, because it could have turned out different. So amongst juggling, homeschooling, packing, selling your house, all that stuff, you're like the next superhero. So good job.
I don't know about that, but thank you.
Hey, on the listing side, Carlton closed a listing this past week on Spinnaker. And Carlton, can you share with us or answer the 3 questions? What?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. Yes, so the source of my client was the team. It was actually a referral to Rick for someone that I believe that he helped in the past. What did I learn? This was a probate deal. So a lot that I learned with, you know, what the lawyers kind of tell you, the price of your commission that you can earn. They have to approve on the price, and just making sure that we have the right people that we're working with that are approved by the courts before going on the market. So just learning. Well, this is also a situation where I was dealing with 2 sisters that were fighting with each other and refused to talk to each other on the phone together. So I had to play the middleman. So I don't think I would do anything differently from that, but I've learned to the patience of that, I guess, behind it. So I was the first.
Yeah, there's
Great
kind of a
job.
fine line. Kind of a fine line when you're representing two people aren't getting along, sort of like a divorce situation is the same. And so you have to be really careful not to let one side think that you favor one over the other. I mean, if you get yourself into a situation like that, you lose everywhere. So it is a very tough, delicate situation. And I know that Carlton, you did a really good job navigating that. I know it was a challenge sometimes. So congratulations on your close. You did a great job.
Yep. Part-time realtor, full-time minister. That's the job. Hey,
Full-time dad too.
yes, and a good one at that. Speaking of dads, you know, when you're young, and Carlton, you know, still is, but he's probably, you know, you start to work on the dad bod, and one of the best ways ever you can work on the dad bod, Lorenzo's going to share with us today, an opportunity that I will be taking advantage of because I take this seriously. Lorenzo, what do you got going on in marketing?
Yes, it'll definitely help with your dad bod. It'll be after summertime, so no worry about the summer body. But we are looking to do our annual pie giveaway, our Thankful for You pie giveaway. So right now, I posted in Facebook under Rick's profile is a poll. So everybody go to your Facebook real quick. We have a couple minutes for this, and you're just going to vote on it. It's super simple. All it's saying in that poll is if you would be interested in a, you know, thank you pie giveaway to our clients, and there's a yes and a no. So just vote on that. That's just going to give us a quick idea on, you know, who's really interested in it, how many people are willing to participate. More details will be following, and I know that, you know, we still got a bunch of time till Thanksgiving, but we're wanting to utilize as much time as possible, right? We want to be able to come out of, we want this event to be big. We want to just be able to be thankful for all of our clients, you know, who have been working with us through these tough times, you know, people who have been really having a tough year with everything going on with COVID, and just showing them that we're there for them. We're thankful for them. For those of you who haven't participated in it, it's really just a thank you event where we're giving out a free pie to them and just saying, hey, we're thankful for who you are. Thank you for your business. And also just being able to reconnect with them. You know, a lot of times that's what a lot of this business is, keeping top of mind, connecting with those people, because you never know who has a referral for you or who might be even considering buying or selling. So I'm not going to get into a ton of details, but we just want you to vote on that poll. More information will be coming, but this honestly is for me, it's one of my favorite events. I love the holiday times, you know, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and I think it's just a great way just to kind of give back to our clients of just giving away a free pie. It means a lot to them. But so make sure you go to Facebook real quick, vote on those, and yeah, we're excited about it. And like Brian's saying, it will definitely help with your dad bod.
Awesome. We, I would encourage you. I think that people are going to be flat out starved for any kind of connection this year, and the holidays, especially if we have some mobility, you're able to move around a little bit. I suspect are going to be super special this year, and so encourage you. Great way to say, hey, I'm a realtor, without having to say, hey, I'm a realtor. So encourage you to do that. We are going to switch to our educational part. We're still talking about we, and Rick and our coaches are going to share with all of us. We will be recording. This will be one of those 9 ones that we really need you to watch and learn. And all of our new people will be doing it as they go in, and we will be making it a resource for us to occasionally check back and on. But Rick, Wendy, Shelby, not really in that order. If you guys know anything about our team, the coaches are who get it done, and Rick's just there to well, he's just there sometimes. So
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
So Brian is right. The last several months, we have been on a theme, a particular topic, and I want you to listen very closely to what I'm about ready to tell you. It is not something you do, it is everything. Your ability to generate customers is the difference between you being an average agent and a top producing team member. And they are two very different things. The average agent in the state of California last year sold 3.9 houses and made on average of $41,000. Our average team member does so much better than that because we stay focused and make first things first. The average agent made about $41,000, which was the exact same amount of income that the average manager made working at McDonald's. The average manager had a 401k, a medical plan, a dental plan, and so much more, and didn't have to pay for signs or lock boxes that the average agent does. So today we're going to talk to you about what really makes the difference, and there's no secret. It's simple. Those that are successful in this business focus on generating customers, converting the customer to a client, then to a contract, and then close. It's no secret that they provide them the kind of experience that they're excited to tell a friend about, which refers more and more business. And today we've been focused on the 3 ways that you can generate business. We talked a couple of weeks ago about team generated and how our team generates business, and it goes through concierge. Joe and Teresa did an exceptional job of sharing that. Last week we had Christina Morales. She did a great job of sharing with you we generated business, how we work together. It's not just us, it's not just a specialist, it's the team working together that creates this unique opportunity where we can generate business together. And she did a great job of sharing with you all the ways that you can post and share and take the information that we've provided, even as simple as the CINC page that we talked about here today, and you can show and share with your clients rather than telling and selling them. Today I want to take you in a different direction. I've asked our coaches to participate. We're going to do really an interview, and I'm going to ask them some questions about other ways that we've implemented we generated business. Now, there are times where we generated specifically things like open houses and door knocking just don't make sense. You know, for example, an open house may not make sense in a gated community. An open house often doesn't make sense when it's tenant occupied. An open house does not make sense in a pandemic, right? I mean, you can't do those today, but we believe that they are going to be returning. Now, when will they return? I don't know. But I believe they will return, and we would be neglecting a major source of our business if we didn't talk about it, because 15% of the over $4 million in commission that we shared amongst the people on this call and a few others came from open houses, and it came from that source of business. And so today I just want to talk about that source of business. Not necessarily are you going to go out and do those things today, but you should know that that business is coming. And as it begins to return and we can safely go back to doing open houses or even knocking on doors and connecting with homeowners, we're going to make sure that we're well positioned and safe to do that. So I want to kind of talk about what the open houses have meant to our group and how our team members have utilized them successfully. So Shelby, I have my first question for you. Can you hear me okay?
I sure can.
So Shelby, you and I have been working together for quite some time, and you and the buyer group literally have done hundreds of open houses, maybe even pressed over 1,000 open houses. What is the value of an open house to the buyer specialist on our team?
Yeah, so we have definitely done our fair share of open houses. And it's interesting because I know there are a lot of other brokerages who don't believe in open houses, but I guarantee that is absolutely, and I tell everyone that comes on in the buyers group, that is the way I built my business years ago, was my SOI and open houses. And anytime that there was a home to be held open, I was the one holding it open. Even there was times where I would hold rental properties open in order to see if maybe some of those people could actually buy. And so why is it important? Because you're literally drawing the people who potentially are interested in maybe not just purchasing then, but in the future as well. You're drawing them all to one location so you can collect their information. And so I don't know where there's another place that you can collect all their information at one time just by having an open house sign and advertising it. So absolutely valuable.
What's interesting about what you just said, Shelby, is that our team members, they know how to sell real estate. They do it really well. And the people that often want to walk into an open house, they want to buy real estate. And our team members, when we do open houses, are in Opportunities Way. That's a really good place to be. Now, if you're on your couch, you're probably not in Opportunities Way. If you're even at the office, you may not be in Opportunities Way because everybody there knows how to buy and sell real estate. But when you're at an open house, you're meeting new people that often have an interest in real estate, whether it's selling their home because they live on the same street, or whether it's buying that home or another one like it. Shelby, one more question for you. I have found the great myth of open houses is that when you're at the open house, you're going to sell that particular home. And that actually rarely happens. What have you seen happen when somebody comes in and you meet them at an open house? They buy that home or do they end up buying something else?
Yeah, so I would say probably 95% of the time that they're purchasing another home. But had I not been in that specific home for that specific time frame, I would have never met them. And a lot of times, because we do work as a team, I always tell the people that I'm meeting, which makes me stand out in open houses different than any other open house they're going to, is, hey, can I get your information? Because I'd love to provide you information about some of our homes that are not yet on the market. And then that makes them feel really important. And of course, they're willing to give me their information. And I can't tell you, there's more times than not that I've been able to take those people, show them a home that's never been on the market, and we actually get into contract on one of those. So I utilize the home that I'm in, but I'm actually ended up selling them another home. And typically it can be ones that are not even yet on the market.
And you provide a unique value opportunity for a buyer who says, wait a minute, you have access to other homes that are coming soon, or you're going to be putting other homes on the market, or I just saw your ad, or you were on Zillow or wherever, or I've seen you guys everywhere. Yeah, I really want to find a good deal. So if you find a good deal, give me a call. And that creates a great opportunity, both for our valued client, but also for our team member. Wendy, you represent sellers, and we've been working together nearly for 10 years, almost 10 years now. And open houses historically have played a very important role to a seller. It's very important to a seller. Can you speak about how and why that's important to a seller?
It is super important for a seller. Obviously, they want to get the biggest, most exposure of their home that they can. And so open houses is one way that we can do that. I will tell you, just to piggyback on what Shelby said, is to be able to get together face to face with people, like you said, coming to you not having to go find them, and face to face, getting to develop that relationship is huge. Me, just like Shelby, I've held many open houses. And so that's how that works. I also tell the sellers as well, and you guys know this too, is that the marketing department that we have can get people to that open house. That's what they do, and they're experts at that. So that's very huge for you as being a member on the team, is knowing that that marketing department is working every week to drive people to that open house, to the open houses that we have. Because our goal is to make them as productive as possible. We want to make them productive for the seller. We want to get as many people through that property to see it personally as possible. But we also want to have them open for our buyers agents to hold them open. And again, back to what we talked about, squeeze out as many buyer opportunities as we can out of the listings that we have. So thanks, Lorenzo, and all you guys, Julianne that works on the open houses, getting people out there. So it's not just, other agents outside of our team rely on the MLS to market their open houses. We have a whole nother layer on top of that to get people to these open houses. So we've just got just such a step up on anybody else.
Wendy, I think you bring up a great point. And the point is open house, what makes it a lead generated? Marketing is doing their part of marketing and advertising. And if they do their part and nobody's there to hold the home open, then they attract people to a property that it's got a closed door. Nobody's there. Nobody's there to greet them, meet them, collect that phone number, or to share with them other properties that might be a good fit. If the team member is there and there's no marketing, then oftentimes you sit there and nothing happens throughout the open house and nobody comes in and visits you. But when you combine marketing with prospecting, it's that axis that produces the best results. When we think about how we can generate the most amount of opportunities for our team members, I'm always thinking about the axis between where does prospecting and marketing meet. It's the combination of them that are like the secret sauce to generating customers for our business. Team generated seems to be a lot more marketing based. I generated seems to be a lot more prospecting or relationship based. We generated seems to be a nice relationship between the two. It's kind of a nice healthy tension between the two. And it's not exclusively for buyers. And Wendy, you and I have talked about how listing specialists can do open houses, because what we found statistically is when you put that sign in the yard, that one of the homes, 10 to the left, 10 to the right, or 25 across, we call it 10, 10, 25, one of them is going to come for sale during the course of the listing. It happens literally every time. How can a listing specialist, Wendy, take advantage of those opportunities to maybe meet neighbors in the community who often want to know, well, what are you getting? What kind of activity are you seeing on your property? What have you experienced? How a listing specialist can benefit personally from an open house?
So a door knocking is an opportunity for a listing specialist to, again, squeeze out potential other opportunities on that current listing. And so we are working on a plan, which we just actually launched with Julianne and marketing, to squeeze out those additional listings out of our current listings. Door knocking today, just like open houses, is different. It's not actually knocking on a door and talking to someone, but it is providing some information for them about a property that just went on the market within their neighborhood. And that the value of their home has changed, which means that the value of your neighbor's home has changed, which means the value of your home has potentially changed. So we are focused on that right now on the listing side. Just a couple, stories when you get to that point that I can share with you about door knocking with the buyers group. If you want me to share.
Awesome. Thank you, Wendy. I think that's really important. And I want to show you some examples of what it can look like when there are parameters that say, well, you don't want a door knock today, the pandemic, right? So that's not something, but there are options available. And we'll show you a little bit of what that looks like. Shelby, I want to go to you on this question. I have found that an open house is a great opportunity to, really market before and even after, and let your sphere of influence know what you're doing. Kind of like an event, almost like a birthday party or a graduation. Have you found it of value to market and advertise or even share on social media that you're going to be at an upcoming open house? And have you found that people like to pop in?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't only, inviting them is great, right, to the event, but it also builds credibility, showing that myself as an agent, I'm out there showing I'm doing open houses, and I'm doing an open house this day and this afternoon and the next day and the next day. And so it builds a lot of credibility with my SOI, really, within my social media. And so it's important to market them, because then you also get comments of like, oh, I live in that neighborhood, or how much is that home worth? And it starts to build conversation within your social media. And why wouldn't you use a free marketing tool in order to grow your own personal SOI and to get a lot of attraction and traffic to that open house? So maybe they're not going to buy that house, but if you can get them there face to face, you start building relationship, just like you can do once they start to engage with you in social media. So it builds credibility and it starts to build relationship. And so it's very helpful. And again, it's free, so why not? And even doing door knocking in the past has been beneficial as well, obviously before all of this. And meeting people and then inviting, maybe asking the neighbors, hey, do you know of anyone who you would love to have living next to you? and it starts the conversation and a relationship there. And sometimes they do. You know, actually, my sister's been looking. All right, I'd love to have my mom live right next to me, and then that turns into a buyer opportunity, so another family to serve.
Thank you, Shelby. If you've listened to some of the podcasts that Christina and I do, you'll hear that we talk about the 5 C's, which is the 5 C's of a team member development. They start just needing confidence. How do I open the house? How do I write an offer? How do I show homes? How do I determine the value of the home? It starts with confidence, then it goes to consistency, and then it's that credibility. And that credibility comes when you are yet again in front of another property, whether it be an open house or a property that's coming soon, or a property that we just listed, or one of our video tours. It gives you credibility, which also helps with your I-generated business. So we can actually benefit even your I-generated business. Wendy, last question for you, and then I want to share some takeaways or some tools that our team members have. For our listing specialists, oftentimes a seller may need a little bit of hope. We just looked at a bunch of properties that had price reductions. What hope does an open house give a seller in a market that maybe takes a little bit more to find a buyer? And you say, Rick, we're in a hot market today. The market's stratified. Certain price points move very quickly. Other price points move very slowly. You look at the over $1 million price point, that's not moving nearly as quickly as 500,000. What hope does an open house bring to your sellers?
I think what our open houses do for our sellers is shows them that we really are a team, and that we are really there to support them, you know, through all of this. There are some other brokerages out there, discount brokerages, that will offer their seller, we'll do 1 weekend of open houses, but after that, you're on your own. We're not doing any more. And so that just shows them that, you know, we are there through you, with you to the end, right? Till we get this property sold, we are there supporting you, working with you. It's a total team effort at that point.
It's a great point, Wendy. I think of clients that I've had where if I didn't hold another open house, they would have lost hope that their home would sell. And maybe it sold at the open house, or maybe it sold from another source, but the open house showed that we were continual, we were consistent, we hadn't forgot about them, we didn't put it on the MLS and then just, you know, forgot that they existed. There was a consistent plan, weeks in, days in, months into the listing, that we were still promoting and working hard on their benefit. And that's very different than most of the real estate industry, because if you think about it, you've got 1 listing or maybe 2, maybe 3 listings. How can you continue to do an open house every weekend? How can you do that if you're all by yourself? Eventually, you run out of hours, you run out of time, and that's why you see a lot of agents that put the home on the market, they'll do an open house, and then pretty soon there's no more open houses. There's really no more marketing activity. They put it on the MLS and they've exhausted all of their marketing efforts. With a team, we can do consistent open houses moving forward. Shelby, Wendy, any final comments, thoughts in your experience working with both your listing buyer specialists as well as your clients on the value of open houses? And
I mean, I know for me, I met a family at an open house. Gosh, this was probably maybe 6 years ago. And this actually happened to be like a rental open house because they were needing to rent. And they had, unfortunately, a pretty poor credit because they had to go through a bankruptcy and a foreclosure. And so I met them and I worked with them to actually help them find a rental property. And it was very difficult when you have those things kind of against you, and they just started a job. But I was committed to serving this family. And so, and they would come and they would visit me at other open houses. And they're like, one day we're going to own a house here in California because they they foreclosed in Florida. And so I was like, yeah, absolutely. One day. And so they called me about 3 years later after they were in this rental property that I helped them to get. And they're like, okay, we're ready to buy. And so we got them into contract. We found a house, and they ended up working with a lender and who they really were not pre-approved. And so unfortunately, they weren't able to buy that home. And so, but I continued to serve them. I continued to be there with them. I continued just to listen to them. And so a year later, they said, okay, this is time, we're ready. And so we actually purchased, I was able to help them purchase a home. And when I handed them keys, and they were like, I don't know if we'll ever buy, but we're believing and we're hoping that one day we'll buy. And they did. When I handed them keys to a house in California that they thought they would never buy, they were so excited. And then just recently, just this year, they contacted me and said, okay, we're ready to sell, because unfortunately they've gone through some health issues and they were no longer able to walk upstairs. And they wouldn't call anybody else, right? I had built this relationship with them. I didn't just blow them off at my open house and be like, oh my goodness, I can't help you. You're not ready to buy today, but I was willing to serve them. And so Wendy and I, we partnered up together, we sold their house, and then they purchased their dream home in Trilogy in Rio Vista, and they just love it there.
They're my neighbors.
And, yeah, they're Wendy's neighbor.
Yes.
I had a cake sent to them just recently. They follow me on Instagram. They're like my biggest cheerleaders. And honestly, it's because I met them where they were at, and I was willing to serve them where they were at. And I didn't want anything for myself. I genuinely, like all of you, wanted something for them. And I believed in their dreams. And we were able to make all their dreams happen. But it just started with me being there at that open house and saying yes. And not thinking like, is anyone gonna show up? I don't know. But just being willing to be there and be open and available. I was able to kind of walk through the past 7 years with them and their journey. So that's one of my stories. I have many, many more, but that's one of mine.
And they love you.
Yeah. They better.
They LOVE love you.
Yeah.
They do. Yes, they do. Yeah.
Wendy, any final comments?
The only kind of story that I was going to tell is Joe. It was I think the first ISA appointment that we had. So Joe, myself, Shelby, we're kind of vetting out concierge. And I think, Rick, you had a listing on Granite Circle.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember John and Jason?
Mm-hmm. I do.
So Rick had a listing on Granite Circle here in Antioch. They called in. They got Joe. It was super, 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 super exciting. And Joe's like, you got to go out. You got to go out to this appointment. They're waiting for you. They're waiting for you. So I went out. And it was an amazing house, an amazing couple of young guys, and they were ready to list with somebody else who was a friend who helped them sell, or buy this house, and they had a bad experience. And so they called in, they talked to Joe. We took the listing, but what was really cool about that was that I came back right away. They were ready to go on the market. Lorenzo, I don't know if you remember, they wanted to sign up ASAP. I came to the office. Lorenzo took the sign. He drove out, put the sign in like the same day, and then the next day somebody knocked on their door. Julie was door knocking in their neighborhood and door knocked on their door. And so in 48 hours, they were touched personally by 4 people on our team. And it was like the best. Super, super exciting. So that was a big thrill. So thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Shelby. And isn't that what you would want? I mean, if you had a home that you listed for sale and you were paying good money out of the equity that you've accumulated to a real estate agent, don't you want to make sure it gets maximum exposure? I mean, don't you want to make sure as a seller that it's everywhere and that the agents are doing everything in their power to help you get the highest possible price in the least amount of time with the least amount of inconvenience? I mean, that's what you would want. That's what our sellers want. And that's what we generated open house opportunities and we generated door knocking opportunities have really provided us over the last several years. Now, a couple of insights that you should know is that in addition to the social media ads, we started a campaign with Zillow. So when we take a listing, we send out postcards in that community to prepare, in addition to having our sign on the property, but we're sending out postcards in the community. Those postcards often can warm up that conversation when we do open houses, or if when we knock on doors or send out a letter or share on a social media post and they're in that community, these postcards help warm up the conversation. Julianne's been sending them out to each and every one of our listings. They have a unique domain name that they can go to and then assess the value of their home, and it produces opportunities for us as a team. You should know that we believe every listing ought to produce multiple buyers and at least one more seller. So if we're doing it right, we've squeezed out opportunities by both prospecting and marketing to generate our next client, our next customer, which we're going to put on your calendar. So let's just kind of have an honest conversation about COVID and how that's impacted. And COVID has impacted the ability for us to do open houses. Part of our conversation today is about future business that we believe that some of you have never experienced before. You're new to the team. You didn't even know that we did open houses. There were weekends, we do 25, 30 open houses a weekend. We believe that one day that's going to return. And as those things begin to return, we will incorporate that. In the meantime, you can do virtual showings. Let me just give you a quick example of what that might look like. This is our YouTube page. You can get to it with connectwithrickfuller.com. And you can do a simple virtual showing by taking any of the properties that we have listed here. And there are over 300 of them available. Some that have previously sold, some that are active for sale. I see several of our actives. And you can share these in a virtual showing. And that's an alternative to a physical open house as a virtual showing. Let's talk about door knocking. Door knocking would not be appropriate in today's market. Being COVID and knocking on somebody's door and that experience to meet people that may be very concerned about coming face to face with somebody. So an alternative in this market may be sending out a letter. This is my favorite letter. There's a bunch of them here. And Christina, I'll look to you. I'll send you these letters. If you can brand them and post them on the team Facebook group page, and our team members can use them. This is called the Buyer's Offer Not Accepted letter. And this may be in replacing the door knocking until we're able to do that. And it's really simple. And so many of our team members here could really resonate with this letter. And it simply says, I don't believe we've met in person, but I'm a local realtor that showed your neighbor's house yesterday at, and put the property address. By the way, the more specific you make this, the better it is. If you said, at 123 Main Street with the brick exterior and the white garage door and whatever, like you really define what home that you actually showed, the more relevant it's going to make it. Unfortunately, my buyer's offer was not accepted, but I'm sure that I'm not shocking you when I say that they're absolutely in love with your neighborhood. But that's actually why I'm reaching out. With all these tools available today, with all these tools available to people today, I take my job very seriously and try to provide real value beyond what a computer or app on its own can possibly provide. While my buyer's offer wasn't accepted, they are still very interested in your neighborhood. If you're considering selling or even have the slightest interest, I would love it if you would reach out to me right away before my client buys something else. While I can't promise that your house will be a perfect match for them, I can guarantee that I'll bring it to their attention. Even if you aren't ready right now, your neighbor's house going up for sale may have changed your value. And if you would like to know if it has changed, just let me know. Feel free to give me a call, put in your phone number, put in your email address, and ask me any questions or more specifics without feeling any pressure. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing from you. This is a very simple approach. In exchange of door knocking, to be able to send out a letter. This letter is coming in really right before or after our postcards. And so we've kind of warmed up that audience a little bit, and an opportunity for you not to wait for the next home, but to actually go out and find that next home for your client. This will set you apart from, if you're a buyer specialist or even a listing specialist, this will set you apart from our competitors, that you're not just waiting for something to show up on the market. You're actively pursuing finding them their next home. So this is all about we generate. It's how we can work together as a team to provide opportunities, customers, and eventually clients that we would not have without working together as a team. Brian, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks, everyone. We have Joe's got a quick spotlight here. We've met with CINC over the last couple weeks, and cool thing about them is they have been working diligently during COVID also to improve their platform, improve some of the things that they're doing. Joe, are you ready to share? You are on mute, my friend.
I've got two things going, so I wanted to make sure not to blow their ears out. Apologize. So yeah, guys, one of the things that we are excited about is CINC is really about helping us convert, right? That's really what a good CRM is going to just take what you do, and it's going to make sure that when you're not remembering that client, which never happens to any of you guys, you remember all 140 names or 300 names or 1,500 names that are registered to you in CINC, right, guys?
Yep.
Yeah, just in case you don't, what you need to realize is CINC is a platform that can remind you. And here's what Jessica from CINC did for us. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Boom. Okay, let's see if it shares right. Boom. All right, so good stuff. So I'm going to shrink myself so I can show you. So guys, here's what you're seeing. This is actually my login at CINC. And so what you're seeing is all these different leads and opportunities that we have. One of the things that you can do to make sure that you're talking to the right people, because conversion is making sure not just that you're making phone calls, you can do a lot of work and not be doing the work that's going to move your business forward. So what Jessica at CINC did is she put in a saved filter. Some of you guys know if you get into CINC, you should probably be doing P1, P2, P3, and F1. These are all just saved filters that will pull up brand new leads that you've never contacted, leads that you have sitting on attempted contact, leads that haven't talked to you or you haven't talked to in 30 days. But what she did is she put in this engaged filter, and I'll show you what it is. What this is it's a filter that will bring everybody up that has currently, you have a valid phone number, a valid email, and they've actually logged in the last 14 days, and you haven't touched them in the last 7 days, and guys, they've logged into your platform at least 5 times. Okay, so here's what it means. It means in the last 14 days, they've been checking on property, but you haven't talked to them. Or CINC at least doesn't know whether you've talked to them or not. And so if you want to know who are the hot people, who's really excited on my list, you can go in and hit this engaged button, and you are going to get a list that she's already put together. These are people, if you haven't talked to them, you should update and talk to them right now because they're actually using your CINC platform to view properties. And so, guys, it's one of those things, it's working for you, but it won't make the call for you. So jump in here, look at that list. Brian, like we said, guys, many times it's just small things. If you took your conversion and you changed your conversion, the front end number by say 2% to 5%, guys, that's another closed transaction. So we're not talking about a small amount, right? And so if you can really use these tools to convert at a higher level, you're going to see momentum built into your team. And I just appreciated Jessica putting this together, Brian. When we looked at it, we just saw money, right? And so guys, if you want to make more money, here is a safe filter that just start making these calls. You want to know who to call? These are the people that are active, that are looking, that you have not responded to in the last 7 days.
Joe, what might be a good script? I hate to put you on the spot, but I know talking, I can do that. Like what? Yeah, I'm making the call. I can tell, I got 5-10 people on there, and I'm ring. What do I say?
Super simple, guys. Remember, these are people that know you, like you, and trust you. These are not strangers. That's one of the things I think is you got to get over calling people that already know you, right? I could see if we were giving you a cold list of people that you have no idea who they are, that you could have some anxiety. But honestly, with this one, Brian, I was just telling Shelby and Wendy here in the office, such a simple call. You're calling because they have activity on your site. So literally, Brian, it would be something like this. Hey, Brian, how are you? It's Joe. How's everything going? This is where you role play with me, Brian. This is where you role play with me.
Well,
awesome. Hey, I don't want to bother you, and I know you're probably super busy, but one of the things I noticed is that you've been looking at 2 or 3 properties on our website, and I want to see if I can answer any questions for you. And yeah, is there anything? I saw you look at 225 Oak Street. Any questions I can answer for you today?
is that really only $100,000?
Yeah, it really is, but here's the truth. The thing is falling apart, and you got to have a construction team to really put it back together. But you're the kind of guy that'll get it done, Brian, so I think you can make about 120 on it if you put about 60 into it.
I need to call my realtor right now.
So guys, here's the thing. I know it sounds super easy, but you're just calling because of activity that they're doing on your site. So don't make it hard. Many times you think you have to have this super elaborate script. No, it's just, what's up, Brian? How are you? Man, I noticed that you were looking at 3 properties in the last 7 days. Can I answer any questions for you? The worst Brian can say is, no, Joe, I was just looking. All right, man. Well, hey, if you have any questions in the future, let me know. Listen, guys, you're not bothering people. You're actually helping them and serving them because they're giving you an opportunity, right? Are a ton of them going to say, yeah, I want to buy that house? Probably not. But one of the things I've been teaching in Momentum is if you learn to serve people, you'll never chase commission. Some of you guys just need to serve more people in your week and you'll make more money.
Hey, Joe, it's Brian Donnelly from the home search app that you have. I noticed that you're looking at some properties. Are you looking for a 3 or 4 bedroom?
4 bedroom.
Awesome. So I noticed that of the couple that you've looked at, this one and this one, why are you looking for the 4 bedroom? Do you have kids?
You know what? Yeah, I do. I have 2.
Awesome. And if you could get the 4 bedroom, how would you use that extra bedroom?
Shelby keeps pushing me in the garage to do Zoom calls, so I just need another room so I don't have to live in the garage.
Okay, so you're looking for bedroom, obviously, for yourself. You're looking a bedroom for your kids and an office, which I think a lot of people during COVID are looking for. Okay, so all I want to say, what you want to do is find out their why. Just keep asking whys. That was what they taught us. So you ask, do all things that Joe said, and then you get to the end of the conversation. So are you, if I could find you a 4 bedroom, a room for Joey and a room for Tyler and an office for your beautiful wife that you would buy now. So you're just repeating back to them essentially what they're looking for, and that you're going to find exactly what they're looking for. Now, if you know them, you don't have to go through that. But I was thinking of that when Joe was talking, because some of those leads on there might be ones that you've gone out before, maybe you haven't met or things like that. So that might be a good one for you to use.
One of the things that you just talked about, Brian, is a thing that we learn in ICC, which is CQC. Clarify, qualify, and close. If you ask why questions and then you bring back clarifying statements, and then you do exactly what Brian did, which is he qualified. So if we found this, you'd be ready to move forward. So that's a clarifying statement and a close. One of the things many times, you guys, the truth is you get people on the phone and you don't close, right? You gotta close. They don't have to buy today, but you gotta get them to commit to another step. Rick, you say it this way: you never end an appointment without a future appointment. Guys, if you do that, it's not an exaggeration. It's probably, when Rick says, hey, putting fuel into your business, right? You have the gas pedal. That is the most important gas pedal you can have, is you have a future conversation with your SOI, your client, about real estate.